Hi everybody, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us as we take a look at the week ahead weather-wise. And we're at the typically coldest point of the year, but you wouldn't really believe it this year. We've got warmer than average conditions streaming in across the country, and a lot of people are telling us it feels like spring already. Here's the animated wind map. The areas in white indicate high pressure, the areas in purple, low. And you can see the developing area of low pressure here in the Tasman Sea. It is going to expand over the next couple of days, and it's going to really bring us a number of days of warmer than average weather, a fair bit of wetter weather in the west of both islands, and then eventually towards the end of this week it should finally start to move away. So let me show you what's going on. Here's the setup for Tuesday, and you can see why it is warmer than average. Here is that subtropical airflow coming down across half of the country and into the top part of the South Island. Behind it, you've got nor'westers or northerlies, depending on where you are, and that airflow is coming out of Australia. So no matter how you slice it, it's warmer than average in most places, with the rain focused on the west coast of the South Island, especially Fiordland and Southwestland. Many other areas, though, especially the main centres, are all looking fairly dry for Tuesday. And by the time we reach Wednesday, the main bulk of rain is crossing over the North Island. It'll clear later in the day with subtropical northerlies. It will not be a cold start to the day, that's for sure. And then behind it, the winds are pretty light. Might be a little bit blustery with that main front, nothing serious. And then behind it, a real break in the wind, and also a break in the rain, just a few showers lingering in this large area. You know, large lows are only very aggressive when the central air pressure is really low. Now this one is dropping into the 990s, possibly even 980s for a time, which is getting down to a sort of a depth that produces a fair bit of wind and rain. But at this stage, I think the system is just too big to really cause too many problems. It's stretching the energy out over a greater distance. Okay, later in the week now, once we get to Thursday, you see the central air pressure there around 991. It's mostly dry around the South Island with showers in the north, and the winds coming back. Be a bit windier now with the west to northwest winds, which will encourage eastern areas like Hawke's Bay to climb up towards 20 degrees later this week. And we end on Friday, where the showers finally take a break later in the day for the North Island after what's been a bit of a showery week. Behind it, the usual spring-like, west to southwest winds. They'll be westerly quarter, so they'll tilt northwest for some, southwest for others. And so generally the trend for the next week or two looks a little bit warmer than average around New Zealand at what is typically the coldest point of the year. And that's why we're getting reports around the country that spring has arrived. Now this does not mean that we're done with the cold snaps. You've got to remember that right down south, Antarctica is at its coldest point of the year, and all it takes is for these lows and highs to reverse themselves a wee bit, and all of a sudden we get a big cold southerly that produces a snowstorm. So we're not getting carried away, but certainly at the moment, this week in particular, it will feel a lot like spring. We'll catch you again tomorrow with the very latest.